Hello and welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Caitlin McKenzie, and today I'm joined by some brilliant members of the Giraffe team. We've got Senior Social Media Manager Dom.
Hello, everyone.
We've got Social Media Manager Robin.
Hello.
And Social Media Manager Nicole.
Hello.
So in today's August Newsfeed review episode, we're going to be chatting about some of the major things that happened on social this month. But before we get into it, it's time for our team question. So guys, what was your highlight of the month in your personal Newsfeed review?
So like we were sort of discussing before we went live, I haven't actually done that much in August. But besides, the one good thing that I've done is I went to Brighton. I went in the sea. You know, the weather was really nice. The sea was very cold, but you know, once you get in it, as they say, it's nice. So yeah,
Got to get your shoulders under.
Yeah, that was my highlight.
Nice highlight. I think that's good. Brighton's lovely.
It is, yeah, it's very nice.
How about you, Robin? What was your highlight?
I had a birthday this month. I turned 22.
Wow, congratulations.
I know. Been a bit of a social butterfly. I'm trying to make like a real conscious effort to see my friends this summer. So I've been very busy seeing lots of people, and it's been pretty good. Good summer so far. Well, it's almost over, isn't it? So good summer.
I know, it's depressing. I feel like we've barely gotten started. I mean, my personal highlight, I actually did something quite scary by my standards, and I went hiking by myself. I'm coming to you live from Scotland, so I'm in a nice place for it. So I took myself off in my backpack and hiked, and then wild camped just in this forest by a river by myself. And
You camped on your own overnight?
Yeah. I had. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a tiny little camping knife that would have been completely ineffective, but I was like, just in case. But I did it. No one murdered me. I didn't fall down a well, which was always a concern. So yeah, that was my highlight.
That's incredible. How brave.
Thank you. How about you, Nicole?
Oh, how can I compete with that? I mean, I feel like the standout time of this month has been the insane weather and the incredible heat wave, which I liked to a certain extent. We can all complain about it when we're in it, but I wish it was there again. I'd say just, the nice weather, going out, having some picnics, going to the beach, classic summer things.
Oh, that's lovely. Nice highlight. Okay. Well, the last few months have been huge for social media. We Are Social and Hootsuite actually partnered on a report back in July, which included some pretty huge stats, which I would love to share with the group. So apparently, social media users have grown by more than 10% over the past year, which takes the global total to 3.96 billion, which is more than half of the world's population.
That is outrageous.
I know. It's weird, isn't it? Because you think, well, what are the other half doing? Like, that's probably our maybe privileged perception as social media managers, but it is our whole lives. So contributing to that growth, apparently 1 million people started using social media for the very first time every single day. Apparently it's 12 new users every second. So people are joining. Hundreds of people are joining while we've even been recording this podcast, which is quite exciting. Interestingly, apparently the figures show that Instagram's ad audience is currently growing by 1 million new users per day, which is quite exciting for brands, right? Like their audience potential is growing mentally every single day. So exciting times. So what's been on everyone's news feeds and timelines this month that they'd like to chat about? Robin, there was something you wanted to share, right?
Yeah, so I've had an Instagram update, and I'm embarrassed saying this because I'm always really slow to get the updates. I feel like everybody gets them before me. So if everybody's experienced this, just humour me. But my Instagram now, when I'm on my homepage, once I've once you've scrolled to the bottom of all your content, it's like, you're done, or like, that's all, or something like that. Now, underneath that, instead of it being old posts that I've already seen, it's like suggested posts. So the same as like how it is on your Discover. Everyone's nodding. Is this a thing? Am I like really late to the party?
No, it's a thing. I actually haven't had that update yet.
Okay.
Weirdly.
Aha, I beat you for the first time ever. Yeah, it's weird. It's really strange. Like, it's sort of your discovery page, but on your home page. Like I'm getting really disorientated. I scroll down. I'm like, who is this? I don't know who. Ah, right. It's suggested. Like I don't know how I feel about it.
I wonder if that's to compete with the For You page on TikTok, right? Because that's how everyone gets their content there. And on Instagram, they're probably trying to slightly put that into your everyday newsfeed and start bringing some new creators. So might be why they've added that in.
How many people do you follow, out of curiosity, Robin? Because I don't have this, and I wonder if I will ever get to the bottom of my follow content. I follow like 800 people, which I know. I'm just like,
I follow 300.
Okay, so I can see how you would get to the bottom of that, maybe.
Yeah, not that many. I get kind of scared, like following people on not scared, but like I'm sure probably quite a lot of people are like this. I'm much more picky about my Instagram than my Facebook or like Twitter, or like on Instagram, I only follow people who I like genuinely want to know about, and I'm constantly going through and unfollowing people. So I'm like quite picky about who I have. Whereas like Facebook, not that I'll be friends with anyone, but I'm pretty much friends with anyone. And same with like Twitter as well.
Sidebar where we all go and check that Robin's following us on Instagram.
But yeah, I'm exactly the same though. Like on my Instagram, I only follow people that I actually want to follow, and a lot of it is family, friends, and maybe celebrities that I actually have an interest in. But no, for me, I don't like the new update when I eventually get it, because like I said, the whole purpose of people that you're following is because you only want to see those posts. If I want to search for other people, then I would use the search tool. So I know there is an option that you can actually select, and it will just allow you to see your older posts on your news feed. Because we already get enough of it when it comes to seeing ads on Instagram. So do we really want to start seeing other people's profiles that we're actually not, haven't actually followed? For me personally, I don't like it, but
I think one of the reasons I'm quite picky about who I follow is because I only follow accounts that will like make me feel good. I don't follow like Victoria's Secret models, and like I intentionally am picky with who I follow based on like how it makes me feel. So then when I go down my homepage and I see things that I like otherwise wouldn't follow, like I saw one the other day and it was like a detox tea, those like skinny tea brands. And it wasn't an ad, it was like the posts from that. And I was like, no, thank you. Like, I don't want to see that. So I think like, I don't know how long the update will sort of last, but it's a great opportunity for brands to get out there, and like up and coming influencers. It's a good way for them to get out there. But for the everyday person, I think it's just a bit annoying.
Yeah, but like it's good for brands, but at what cost? How about you, Dom? Is there anything you want to bring to the August review?
Yeah, so Facebook have recently announced some new features to like e-commerce. Obviously, with COVID-19 happening, many businesses, had to make that shift over to online. So what Facebook did announce back in May that they were working on is building shops into their platform. So that's on Facebook app and on Instagram. I know that Instagram have added a shop section to their platform, but what Facebook are now testing is doing that for Facebook as well, and it will only be tested in the US to begin with, and funny enough, it's called Facebook Shop. So so what it will allow really businesses to do is to add their products, and it will give users the options to be able to browse all these products, and essentially shorten the customer's journey. So it's keeping people on Facebook more and shortening the user's journey to that purchasing stage. So they can just view it on Facebook, find the product they like, and then maybe straight away go to the website to then purchase it instead of browsing the company's website.
Definitely from a social advertising perspective as well. That sounds kind of dreamy that we could track that on the platform. Have any of you guys like bought anything from the Instagram shop or from an Instagram ad? I'm curious.
I don't think so. I was actually having this conversation with my friend the other day when she was like, what do you do for a job? And I was explaining it, and we were trying to rack our brains whether we'd actually ever bought from an Instagram ad. I don't think I have. Maybe like not unintentionally, but maybe sort of subconsciously. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not that impulsive. I wouldn't just buy straight away from an ad, but I definitely would follow the brand and then learn more and then see if they can convince me, or Google them afterwards. But I am not confident enough to just go for it straight away.
Oh, I don't know. If I see like a Boohoo ad and it's, oh, I like that t-shirt.
Oh yeah, actually that's so true. I do that.
I mean,
What am I talking about?
You told me.
Everyone eats their words.
I'm a sucker for ASOS. ASOS know how to get me as well.
Absolutely. And they're obviously so effective because, not to their detriment, but so often you click through on their posts and the stuff's out of stock already, which I guess just shows how good it is at selling stuff. Yeah. How about you, Nicole? What have you noticed this month?
Yeah, I mean, just to bounce off Dom's point, I think it's really interesting. It's a game changer for businesses if you can just sell your products directly on Facebook. I mean, how crazy would that be? You know, I think it links up with their existing website, so the purchases could all be made within their page. And that is definitely something to keep an eye on. I know with that, they were sort of testing another few features of linking that to Instagram stories and Instagram lives. So, you know, imagine watching an influencer do a beauty tutorial and then you could just directly click on the product that they're using and buy it, you know? So it's definitely something to look at. And I think it would probably change a lot of the ways we run things. So we will see. Watch this space.
Well, you actually mentioned beauty there, which is kind of a nice segue into something that I've noticed this month, and which I think is actually a bit of good news, which is always nice. So Pinterest is actually making some moves to become a more inclusive company. On the 11th of the month, they tweeted, "Inspiration begins with inclusion, and improving beauty experiences like skin tone ranges is one step towards that. Now you can see yourself in search results, ones that look and feel like you." And then there's a little pin and it says find looks based on your choice of skin tone, and then links you straight into a really interesting new search feature that they have, which basically clusters together different similar skin tones, and then depending on what you typed into the search bar, so it takes you automatically to bold eyeshadow, and then you can pick by skin tone, which I think is probably a really lovely update for a lot of people who maybe aren't used to seeing themselves represented in search results. And the results, you click on all of the different skin tone clusters and everyone just looks incredible. There's a lot of inspo to be had there. I think it's quite a nice move for Pinterest in terms of the beauty space as well, because I mean TikTok is dominating right now. I mean Instagram was before, so maybe that will encourage more diverse influencers and content creators to start looking at Pinterest as more of a place to step up. And I mean, no platform's perfect, right? But it's definitely a nice step in the right direction. And again, especially after all the companies that we've seen coming out in like verbal support of Black Lives Matter, but it's actually nice to see a company doing something palpable and like putting their money where their mouth is, or where their tweet is, or whatever.
I think it's really empowering when you see like a big company with a recognizable name making sort of strides in that direction, because with a company like Pinterest, everybody knows who Pinterest is, and hopefully some other brands will follow in their footsteps. But someone's got to do it first. And I'm sure, like, I'm probably saying that from a really ignorant place, because there probably has been other brands who've done it. I'm just not aware of it. But it's good that like a brand with such a big following and so many users, like such as Pinterest, is making steps in the right direction finally.
Yeah, and it's like, or correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't ASOS done something similar, but it's to do with like body shapes and sizes. You can see just like obviously the clothing on different models' body shapes, which I think is again a really good idea.
I mean, you're never going to be able to do it everything at once. You know, you're not going to be able to change everything in one go, but just making steps and sort of saying to these different sort of communities, like, we hear you, and you're like, we will, you know, connect with you, sort of, so you don't feel so left out, I think is really important.
ASOS on Instagram are really leading the charge in the fashion industry. I mean, you'd have to do is scroll the main profile and it's just so diverse. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they also include pronouns now as well, which is quite nice. So I guess that allows commenters to be respectful when they pass comments and stuff, which I think is pretty revolutionary. Yeah, it's great. And they do a lot of really wonderful stuff with pride, which was nice to see. Do you guys think it makes a difference to brand perception when you see them making moves like this? Do you kind of feel like you want to reward them with your purchasing?
Yeah, can I show you what's on my feet right now? Can you see these? I bought the UGG Pride slippers that are partnering with ASOS. So literally, what you're saying is I did exactly that. When ASOS released their Pride range, I supported them by buying whatever I could. So
I do think
it makes a difference. They're pretty fun, aren't they? I mean, they're highly impractical, but I really like them.
Yeah, for everyone listening, they're like bright yellow rainbow and fluffy and wonderful. Well, another thing that I've also come across, to circle back to TikTok, is some interesting industries piping up and making statements about the platform, which I think was a bit of a surprise. I think I saw the headline, like, dermatologists speak out against TikTok, and I was like, huh? Like, what? But I don't know if you guys have seen it. I know I've held my hands up before. I don't really use TikTok. Well, I'm lying. I'm completely lying. I don't use TikTok. I just see them sometimes. But there's been a lot of beauty hacks, air quotes, which include things like applying bleach to whiten teeth, removing moles at home, using eyelash glue to make lips appear larger. Which raises some flags, right?
For sure.
And I mean, I know we've seen it before on Instagram. Do you guys remember the Kylie Jenner lip challenge?
Which was very time.
Yeah, that was And I feel like we're maybe TikTokers going through that moment now, where it's just like people and the platform are sort of testing the boundaries, because I know TikTok told BBC News that all these videos of people putting eyelash glue on their skin and rubbing bleach on their teeth didn't actually violate its community guidelines. So it wasn't prepared to moderate. Do you think they should maybe step in a bit in this kind of situation?
TikTok ads scare me. And I think because it's so new, it's just not been regulated yet. The amount of ads I get on like fasting and like how to lose weight and just not eating all day is crazy.
Serious.
And they have a really young audience as well.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely worries me. I don't know what their audience is. Is it 13 plus? Something like that. And that's really concerning that they're seeing ads like this. And I'm sure, well, as you mentioned, there are ones that are worse. So something hopefully needs to be done. But as the platform grows, and it is growing, and more established brands come on, I think, fingers crossed, they're a little bit more careful and aware of the impact they're having.
But I think, like, with the Kylie Jenner challenge that was happening on Instagram, like, it's sort of all these platforms are doing is giving insecurities a platform, if that makes sense. Like, this is the young people, you know, there's constantly these evolving beauty standards, and I think all these social media platforms are doing is just allowing people to like give tips. Obviously it's not good tips, but like it's all just feeding into the constant sort of insecurities that young people today are feeling, and all it's doing is it's being amplified by social media, whether that's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, or unfortunately I think yes, the platform needs to moderate it more, but I think there's always going to be an appetite for it because we're constantly feeding the beast of does that make sense?
That's deep.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's something cool that I noticed Twitter are testing out as well, is that when you are creating a tweet, let's say you're starting a conversation with somebody, it will give you the option to whether you want to make it public or whether you want to restrict people who can comment on it, or you can just make it literally private, the tweet, to the person you're sending it to. So then only that person will see it and will be able to reply to it. Which in that sense, that can cut out any spam, bullying that can occur. You know what people are like and can be like on Twitter and any platform. You're always going to get those trolls. So I think that's a really, really good update, and that I hope to see sort of rolled out everywhere.
I think Twitter is probably one of the best in terms of removing harmful content. Didn't they remove a couple of Trump's tweets? I think they are actually quite on it when it comes to removing things that are shouldn't be on the platform, and they're actually taking action, which is good to see.
I agree. I feel like they're doing the most in terms of the platforms, and I guess any platform that's incurring the wrath of Donald Trump is probably kind of putting its guidelines before things like that, which I fair play to them. Like if his tweet's misleading, they have every right to label it as misleading, which I think they've got the most sort of diverse controls. And I know you can like turn off replies and stuff when you tweet now, which must be a breath of fresh air for people who just want to create content on Twitter but necessarily don't want to have the negative discourse.
I would love to get your guys' thoughts on Facebook groups and how they can be used by brands, because I noticed the other day, I was just doing a bit of research, and there's going to be a new feature where group admins can post branded content within their groups. So obviously a lot of companies sort of collaborate with Facebook groups already, but now they can post specifically partnered posts and just kind of promote their brand a little bit more, and how that will, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about Facebook groups? Do you think they're really valuable for brands, or do you think people kind of reject brands in groups because it's kind of like a personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think first of all, Facebook groups are so good for building a community.
Amen.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's so, it can be so engaged because one, you get notifications every time you post within that group, so every person that is in that group is going to receive this notification. So the reach that you get within the group is pretty much every single member, which is completely different compared to a Facebook page where you're not going to reach every single person that is liking your page. I like the fact that you can sort of pick and accept who you want actually in there. And yeah, I think now that you're able to sort of put branded content in there, especially, I mean, I would avoid trying to go against the community too much. You don't want to be spamming it with too much promotion. But if you are a brand and you do have a group that is specific for like your more loyal fans, then maybe you have a new product that you're posting, and that maybe you're going to give that to your loyal fans beforehand. I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Completely agree. I could literally talk about Facebook groups all day, every day. I just think they're so powerful. I actually wrote an article for Giraffe, so if anyone's really interested in this and how they can make groups work really well for their brand, we've got a blog post about that, which we will drop in the show notes below. But I don't know if you guys have, maybe a huge example is Peloton. Have you guys heard of Peloton? It's like it's a very fancy bike. It's an indoor exercise bike, but they have this huge focus around community, and they've got a couple of Facebook groups, and the user uptake is huge. They've got so many members, and the posts, it's like hundreds a day of just people posting because they want to connect with other people who really love the brand. So I think it's a great place to build brand sentiment. And yeah, like you said, Dom, just give a place for your really loyal fans. And also they're a captive audience. Facebook made some updates in the last couple of years which shifted the platform's focus away from branded content in general. They wanted to make it more community oriented, and so you were seeing stuff that you were more likely to be interested in, which is in everyone's best interest. But if you're a brand, it means your reach probably plummeted. So that's where groups really came into their own, because you could invite people via your page perhaps into a more private perhaps setting, but where they can really, and also it's a place for users to be I love Peloton so much, OMG, which they might not want to post on their regular page. So I think it provides a huge opportunity. And now if they can, and maybe Facebook have noticed that brands are really maximizing their results from that. So they're giving us more goodies to play with. I think it's exciting.
I've only recently discovered Facebook groups because I think sorry, don't shame me, Dom. I can see your facial expressions. I joined, I don't know whether any of you did this when you were teenagers, just joined loads of random groups and liked loads of random pages.
Oh my goodness.
Hundreds and hundreds of them. So I sort of purged and went through and unjoined, well, not unjoined, but you know what I mean, left all these random groups I was a part of. And then I sort of rediscovered it recently, and now I'm a part of some funny groups, but I'm not a part of any groups that are about a specific product or a specific brand. I'm in one group for my village. Whenever anyone loses a village cat, you get a little update. I'm in that group.
That's so cute.
I'm in some funny groups, but maybe I should join because I suppose you could like share information and share your love of the same brand. So maybe I need to get involved.
Maybe you need to join a ASOS Pride Appreciation group, and you can just take pictures of your fluffy slippers and share them.
Yeah, maybe.
You can find such niche audiences, and it's perfect for brands trying to fit into different communities. I think they just need to be careful because, as we were saying before, people can be quite brutal on Facebook pages and Facebook groups. So you need to make sure that you're actually coming in and asking a question, or you have something to say. You're not just being promotional. So it'll be interesting to see how brands do that.
How do you guys feel about, this is just a completely side note, but I don't know if you ever, when you're like scrolling through your homepage, you click on random sort of like businesses posts and read the comments. And if there are ever like negative comments, or as there are, you know, you have to accept it with social media. How do you feel about brands responding to negative comments? Because sometimes like some businesses take the policy of let's hide it, let's delete it, let's ignore it. And then other brands take it as an opportunity to stand up for what's right. Like I noticed it might have been ASOS, to be fair, and I'm just name dropping ASOS left, right and centre, or it might have been a different brand that I follow, but they were doing something about Pride. And I was like reading through the comments, and there was some horrendous comments underneath there. And the business, whoever it was, might have been Nasty Gal, or like one of those online shopping. And they sort of responded and got into a bit of a debate with the commenters. And I thought that's quite brave. You don't really see brands doing that very often. I'd be interested to know like what you guys think about, do you hide it? Do you comment? Do you, what do you think?
As someone who complains a lot to brands on Twitter, when something's wrong, my go-to is DMing them on Twitter because they're usually the most responsive and they reply to me. I would be really... I mean, I would definitely have a negative brand perception if they had all of these comments and questions and the brand just ignored them. I think there needs to be, community management is key. And I think if you can respond and just help answer these questions for people, right? They're coming to you with a question, so help out. I mean, I guess there are sort of the trolly comments as well and how a brand reacts to that. But if they can be sort of confident about it and a little bit different and stand up for what's right, then I 100% support that.
Yeah, I think you can get the cases where if somebody is giving you a negative comment and they're literally just trolling, I think, sometimes you may just have to sort of hide that. But I definitely agree with you. I think even if they're given like a negative review, you should definitely respond to it. Like you said, it's how you want your perception, how you want your brand to be seen. And if you can support that person who's had a bad experience with your company, if anything, it potentially could change their views on your brand and could just lead them to coming back to you and actually making another purchase if you can sort of help that user out. So yeah, it is definitely really important that you're not just replying to positive comments, you are replying to those negative comments as well.
I completely agree with you guys. I think it's important to just take control of the narrative as well. You can't just leave these things out there unattended for other people to form their opinions about. But I'll maybe tie this issue up just by mentioning another kind of nice update, which gives Instagram users more control over this sort of thing. So if you're an influencer or just a regular account and you get negative comments, it's not about your brand, whether or not necessarily those comments are relevant. But what you can now do is pin comments. Have any of you seen that? You can, you can swipe across and pin certain comments, maybe like 3 to the top of your Instagram post to try and like change the tone of the narrative, which I think is a nice thing, especially because there's not a lot of that sort of functionality compared to Twitter, say, where you can turn off replies altogether and, really customize it. Well, great. That was an awesome discussion, you guys. So Dom always provides the team with a very unique brand of weekly motivation in our weekly meetings. So we kind of want to share it with our amazing listeners too, with a little bit of a monthly dose. So take it away, Dom. This is our
say what you call it. What do you call it?
It's our monthly wisdom. Do you get it? It's very funny. It's the funniest thing I've ever come up with. I don't have a huge social life right now, as you can tell. Go on, Dom. Motivate us, please.
All right. So inspiration comes from within yourself. One has to be positive. When you are positive, good things happen. And that lovely inspirational quote came from Deep Roy. Thank you, Deep Roy.
There you go.
I like it.
Wow, I like that. That was good,
Nice.
Dom. That was one of your best.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, which is going to be a really exciting interview with influencer and model Lucy Bennett. You can also connect with us on all major social channels and let us know what you thought about any of the topics we discussed today. Maybe you can make us aware of a few other notable things that went down in August. We would love to know your thoughts. We've been Giraffe Social Media. You've been amazing. We'll see you next time.